More so now, I would say leaders that I look up to or look to are my friends. Like I look across more than I look up, you know, because it's a good thing to have people around me and know that I'm not the strongest one in there in my group, but I know that we all have somebody that we need each other. One person might be making this amount of money, but he doesn't know how to do something that I know how to do. That we can pull from each other. So I look at leadership in that.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. My peers are the same. Like I don't hang out with nothing but kings straight up. So like all my people doing it, and like you already know that, like, cause I'm the same way at work. Like I don't hang out with nothing but kings. Like if you're not about that king work, then I ain't really got time.
Yeah.
This is the Gentleman's Club, man, and again, this is episode what, about 8?
I
I don't even know either. We up there though. But welcome. This is where we attack controversial issues, bring up relationship goals, try to talk as black men and changing the narrative in a lot of different ways, man. Again, I am Dante Harper. Y'all can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Kyle Keenan.
DJ Pepperkai.
Meso Moon,
man. And again, man, this is the Gentleman's Club. Of course, this episode is all about, it's going to be titled A Man First. And I just want them to give out, their stories, and that way everybody can try to get a chance to relate with different point of views, different lifestyles. We can start off with an honest answer, man. Y'all tell me y'all occupation, tell me what y'all do. That way we can start from the foundation. Me personally, I am the DES teacher here at Utopian Academy for the Arts, and I'm also the chairman here as well. I also run my own nonprofit for all boys, and that's pretty much it. You can go ahead, Dean.
Kyle Keenan, I'm the dean of Utopian High School. Also, I'm an entrepreneur. I partner with my wife on a couple of ventures within like real estate and transportation.
My name is DJ Pepperkai again. I'm an acting teacher here at Utopian Academy. I'm also an actor and filmmaker, producer, and writer and director.
Mr. Moon, I am the art philanthropist. I do murals, animation, graphic design, anything dealing with art.
And you also student specialist? Okay, well, say no more. Student specialist at Utopian Academy for the Arts. I guess, I don't know. But with that being said, everybody here pretty much are accomplished. They're probably not where they want to be all the way, but at the end of the day, they are accomplished. And in order to get there, it takes some type of leadership. And any one of y'all can answer first. Who's a leader in y'all's life? Who was a leader coming up as a kid? Who's a leader in y'all life?
First leader for me is God, of course, and like a lot of different like biblical figures. Even if we look at like Jesus as an example, he was like the epitome of manhood, and he was a servant. So when I was thinking about being a father and a husband, I modeled that. We talk about like a more real, like not real, but more like familiar. I would say my dad. Yeah. My dad was. He's like I aspire to be as good a like father as he was. I couldn't ask for a better like example of what it means to be a man. He always put his family first, his wife first. Like we always like I don't know, we spoke on it before, but my father made like 120 my like whole life. This type of money he was bringing in. He had like 2 suits, a couple pair of shoes, and like I had everything. My sister had everything. My brother had everything. My mother had like 8 closets. So I didn't even, at first I just thought because my daddy was country, he didn't really care about clothes. But one day when I got older, he was like, yeah, man, I like nice stuff too, but like somebody gotta not look nice, everybody else does look nice. And then that kind of blew my mind that he actually like, he wanted that stuff, but he had his priorities in order. He made sure his family was straight first. Right. So that was a really strong example of what it meant to be a husband and a father.
Okay. And what about you, BJ? Who was the leader in your life now?
I'd probably say my dad. Growing up, he was definitely a leader. That's tough. Probably I would say another leader I could say is somebody named Mark Pedowitz. He's CEO of, he used to be the CEO of CW Network, but that's somebody that I interned with for a summer. and just to learn how to run things, like just manage different groups of people. And even though that you're the head of something, you always have to be present and to know like how much stuff comes with that in terms of managing a large group of people or whatever. Just learning how to lead and how to make sure you put the group in the right direction, and knowing that you're not perfect, and it's definitely mistakes that's going to go along with the journey. So yeah.
Well, me personally, one leader that came through my life, you know, I just want to say that. Well, go ahead, Mom.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I wasn't trying to skip. I just wanted to elaborate.
You got it, bro.
Yeah. So a leader in my life, man, coming up as a kid, I think the biggest leader for me was my mom. She was very steady, very stable, and very strong and tough-minded. And she was a single mom. So that was my leader coming up as a young kid. Now, as I'm an adult in my 30s, a lot of self-reflection. I'll try to word that right, but self-reflection, self-leadership in a sense. And like I said, we spoke on this already, but it's kind of like I take a lot of time to step back and analyze the situation, taking my feelings out and being like I don't know, I just step back out of all situations and try to analyze myself and try to be a leader as much as to myself as possible. I think a good leader that I did have coming up with like basketball coaches. But that's about it, honestly. Basketball coaches, my mom, and now I'm just my own leader in a sense. But yeah, you may so.
I definitely would say I'm definitely taking the self-leadership approach. I never really had anybody I wanted to exactly be like, so I take tidbits from everybody, just certain situations. Definitely my dad, he was a people person. I took those attributes from him. My mom, she was a goal setter, goal getter. Anything she wanted to do in her profession, she achieved it as far as position-wise. So I took just the approach of manifesting, writing my goals, applying for positions, going after it. I got that from her. And then, of course, in the art field, any type of artist, like who artwork I like, I try to mimic it into a sense of some type of way that I create. So more so now, I would say leaders that I look up to or look to are my friends. Like I look across more than I look up, you know, because it's a good thing to have people around me and know that I'm not the strongest one in there in my group, but I know that we all have some value, that we need each other. One person might be making this amount of money, but he doesn't know how to do something that I know how to do. That we can pull from each other. So I look at leadership in that.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. My peers are the same. Like I don't hang out with nothing but kings straight up. So like all my people doing it, and like you already know that, like, cause I'm the same way at work. Like I don't hang out with nothing but kings. Like if you're not about that king work, then I ain't really got time.
Yeah, and I hold value in that. Like I said last time, I hold value in that because like I said, growing up to a certain age, the only leader that I had was my mother. So with that being said, that reassurance from my leaders, of course, like I said, I am a DES teacher here and chairman in my department. But at the same time, I look at leadership like Dean. I look at guys like Reese, Miller. I look at those guys for advice. And whenever they can reassure me that I'm doing the right thing, that gives me confidence that I'm doing the right thing. Because I think, like I said, lacking that father in your life, I think that's very important to have. Is that leadership, knowing that you're doing the right thing and that reassurance. With that being said, now since y'all older in age and a little bit, how valuable is a leader? In y'all's life, how do you feel like, what example are y'all trying to set to be a leader?
There was this one quote where it's like, army of sheep led by a lion is more powerful than an army of lions led by a sheep. So essentially, like, leadership is more important than like resources and everything else. Like if you have the right leadership, you can accomplish like great goals. But if you have the wrong leadership, even if you have all the resources in the world, you're still probably doomed for failure. So for me, like understanding what that North Pole is, that direction is more important than like 85% of the rest.
Let me ask you this, because I think this came up today, and I want to speak on it a little bit. What is a leader?
A servant.
Leader is a servant, but
like
when you see a leader, because here's where it came up at. Somebody told me that kids use me as a buyout. Like they be like, hey, I'm going to. I was at Mr. Harper's room, this, that, and the third. And I feel like the people that it came from, I just feel like they came from a place of the rah-rah type leader. And I honestly, I'm not a rah-rah. I'm a leader yelling in the room. So
like, so what I'm saying is like, when I say a servant, like to be a leader is a burden. It's like people seek it all the time for the accolades, but to be an effective leader is literally a burden. Like if you think about Christ as an example, his leadership cost him his life. And that's what I'm saying, like the thing that's also about a leader is like people are gonna follow you, whether you have the title or not. Right. So like people out here like aspiring for goals and the other, when like if you see people following you, then like you don't even have to say you're a leader, it just is what it is. Right. And it doesn't matter about the rah-rah, the yelling and screaming, like bro, that's just noise. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you get like a tree is judged by its fruit. You know what I'm saying? Period. So like if you're a leader, there's certain fruits that come from that. And one of them is you're gonna have people that are gonna follow you. You have people that trust you.
And you know what's funny about that, man? I think the youngest minds can tell who the leaders are.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
They are the youngest minds, but they follow who's the true leaders.
Yeah, and it don't matter what the title is.
It don't matter what the title is. They follow the true leaders. Those are the people they say, hey, that's my favorite teacher. Though that person showed them signs of leadership. Yeah. Whether it was,
I don't even know if it's about favorite. It's just that they'll follow you.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the thing. Like when it comes to follow, it's like that's a powerful thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it's like a submission. It's like if you see students that are like, you need something, like I got you. Like I just want to be around you. I'm just trying to learn from you. I'm starting to imitate your style, imitate the way you talk, imitate the way you like behave with people. Like that's the leader. That's so like when you see that imitation from students about like the behaviors that you have, that's when you know you're being an effective leader. Now there's good leadership and there's bad leadership. Right. Like I think God gives you a gift of leadership. That's one of the gifts you can have, right? Now what you do with that gift is up to you. Right. Like if innately people are following you. I've seen like, bro, a bad leader can be a cancer.
Man,
anything.
And I think that part is like more eye opening for people our age because we kind of analyze everything. And at the same time, in the back of your mind, you think these are leadership things. This is what leaders do. They should tell 100 group of kids of what to do and how to do it and da 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 and blah blah blah. That's not a sign. That's not leadership.
Because you can scream and yell all day.
But it don't mean
kids
nothing.
might do it out of fear. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't necessarily mean they're following you. Like I give you one of our students that just transferred in. He is a kid that's done like a bad kid, right? All our boys are following him. And every day I'm talking to him about like, bro, like you're a leader. And you gotta understand, amongst black and brown people, our leaders are always arrested. Like all of them. Like Jesus, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Like I can keep going on the list of like all our black leaders that are arrested because like there's a fear when it comes to black male leadership. Like don't nobody in this world really want it.
It's the influence.
Bro, it's like,
it's the influence.
Think about it, like you're not even trying, like the kids doing the fashion stuff, like I don't even feel like you even like low-key wanted to do that when you got here. But it's because you are who you are. It's like our male leaders at the school are starting to follow you. Yep. Like the same, bro.
Absolutely.
It's like,
and it's so, and honestly, it gives me chills whenever I see kids fall to a teacher and they have a certain relationship that I can't.
You didn't actually.
I didn't. Right. It wasn't something that. Because I love every kid. Every kid loves me, but at the same time, when they love another person and you can see that bond there, it's kind of like, that's a good guy.
It's inspiring.
It's very inspiring, and it gives me chills to see.
Like, I love to see when the kids gravitate towards y'all. Because, like, I'm not there enough.
Right, that's what I mean.
I know I'm not there. When I was a teacher, that was one different speed. But now I'm in administration, I need to be pulling back further and further. I love to see when kids gravitate towards y'all for, like, not even on some like, I need help with my homework type stuff. Nah, it's on like on life.
Relationship, yeah.
Yeah, it's on like, hey, like how do I like reach a goal? How do I set a goal? Like how do I like become a better person? Like how do I'm emotional, I have anger issues. Like I love when you see those barriers breaking down and they're starting to follow and use you guys as examples. Like if you want to know if you're an effective leader, look behind you and see who's walking with you. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Or even better, look beside you.
Yeah. And
like that's what I'm saying, like kids they can see it.
I mean,
because if you're not leading, they're not gonna follow.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they do follow, it's not them following. They just scared.
They'll do what they
And
have to do to get through, but they're not gonna follow you.
And that's the biggest thing I love about respect. You know what I'm saying? Respect is a huge word because it gets misconstrued with fear. You can't blind the two. Like I said, when you get older, you can notice the difference of respect and fear. They can fear you all day, but do they really respect you?
Yeah.
When you turn your back, are they talking good about you?
Right.
Probably not.
That's different, right? And then even deeper than that, I gotta be honest with you. Love is a whole. Love is taking, like, I don't know who made love sweet.
Wow.
Love ain't never been sweet, bro. Like, love is not like a rainbow, happy-go-lucky emotion, bro.
Yeah.
Like, love is like the only thing God equated himself to in the word was love.
Exactly.
So, like, we don't even understand love all the way. But with love comes some fear. Like, I love my mother and father. I'm not afraid of my dad beating me anymore. I'm afraid of disappointing him.
Right.
I'm not afraid of my mother.
Respect.
But no, bro, I do respect my parents. It's a strong respect. But the love I have for them, everything parents, like.
Let me ask you this, it's a good little turning point. Being a leader, having all the pressure on you to perform in a sense, at what point do y'all self-care for yourself? Like, what do you do to self-care for yourself? Like, what do you do to take care of your own mentals?
I would definitely say set up some me time. I think we all get pretty busy in our days, our duties, trying to cater to other people, trying to show love, Rarely do we sit and say, like, hey, every Tuesday I'm going bowling.
Right.
That's my time with myself.
So, let me ask you this. I'm going to stop you. How do y'all feel about crying as men?
I'll let it go.
When do you cry?
Well, I have cried before. I feel like, I think it's not something like, so it's not something you should be afraid to do.
Yeah, I think.
Well, when do you do it? Do you do it? Do you allow yourself to do it in front of your kids? Do you allow yourself to do it in front of your wife? When do you cry? When do you let that out? Because let me tell you, I'll tell you my own stories, man. Because see, me, like I said, I was raised by. Okay. All right. So, so like I was saying, I was raised by a single mom. So a lot of our things were, hey, stick your chest out, get up. When I lost, get up. What you crying for? I used to lose rec games, and me and my brother used to stand together and cry. We just didn't like losing, so we was told, stick your head up, stick your chest out, next move. But now since I'm older, my wife probably the only person who see me cry consistently. There's been times where I lost a job and I would wake up and I would just
Cry.
boo-hoo. She'd be like, what's wrong? It's 7 in the morning. What the hell wrong? And I will be dead ass crying. And also for me, sometimes I get so frustrated with life, I'll be driving home and you know what? I turn the music down and I give myself that 20 minutes. And nobody knows about that but me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And those are moments where I feel like are important. But at the same time, do y'all allow y'all family to see that?
I'm struggling because I never saw my dad cry. Yeah. And I shared with y'all, like my sister had cancer. Everybody in my family was breaking down. Like my grandma, first time I saw my grandma cry, my mother was in tears. Like my brother was crying, my sister had moments where she broke down. My dad was like this stable, like he was just there for everybody. He was waking up early in the morning, cutting grass, just getting his mind off of it. He was processing it in his own way, but I never saw him break. Same thing with his mother got sick. She had like a triple heart bypass surgery. Cancer was like, she had breast cancer. And I thought, they were talking about pulling the plug. And I never forget my daddy said he talked to God, she's gonna be straight. And I'm like, nigga, what?
And he stood there.
And he was straight. Like everybody else, again, breaking, he just like, no, I talked to her. Like my daddy's faith is just different, bro.
Yeah.
And like, that's the example I have of like a man. Yeah. Now with that being said, I've teared up over these kids since this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what, like, in my personal life, for me, I haven't really cried, right?
Right. Like
rarely. But when it comes to like the children, I don't know why, like it hits me. Also, and it's because I see them like this. At times I see them destroying themselves.
And honestly, you see them getting beat and destroyed too. So some people around them, sometimes
but like,
their leadership
that's part of that life though. Like I really don't have an issue with hardships, right? Because our kids experience more struggle outside of school. And if we don't teach them how to navigate
through this basic hardship, but that's gonna tell.
Through a teacher with attitude, like we can't protect them from everything. That's what I realized when I got more seasoned in education. Like I can't always protect the kid from every injustice, right? But what I can teach them is how to advocate for themselves.
Right.
And
that's a great example because I had a student come up to me and she was like, "Yeah, I love writing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like doing, and I got a style." And she was going into it, and I was like, "Yo, she's really passionate about it because we hoop, so." When somebody be like style, you be like, oh, okay, I know what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a style, I have a style, Pepper Kai. Y'all, if you play ball, you have a style.
Yeah.
When she started talking about writing, she was like, I have a style. And this teacher, she's very strict. And she want me to write one way. Yeah. And that's one of those moments where I can't protect her. I told her straight up. I was like, listen, you're learning a technique. You're learning your skill. Yeah. It's other ways you may have to adjust just a little bit just to push it. Just to get it through.
But I do feel what you're saying around, like, I'll never forget I had a 7th grade teacher. I used to love writing poetry. Yeah. I used to struggle reading out loud. This dude, he was a tall white man, Mr. Klein Collins. I'm gonna say his name over here. I used to read out loud. He made fun of me in front of the whole class and said I sound like Hooked on Phonics commercial. And I don't know if y'all younger than me, but Hooked on Phonics, the kids used to read on the commercial.
Yeah, they still run.
Yeah,
I think that commercial still run.
Hurts. But he said that, bro, it really put a bad taste in my mouth for just literature, period. And I ran away from that passion. So I get when you're talking about that, like how frustrating it can be because you don't want to take away a child's passion. Right. And if you see somebody doing that, it's like an injustice, right? But we got to empower them on how to like fight back. Right. Like I think that our cardinal principle at this school should be like loving above all else, rebelling against any injustice, and submitting to that which is greater than themselves. That's it. Like that's what I think we should stand for. And what I mean by that is like we have like there's nobody loves our kids. Like nobody in this world loves little black and brown kids. Like this is a very evil place. So we can't
not the school, the world.
Yeah, the world. So it's like we can't make it too sweet here that when we release them they're shell shocked that they fail, right? Right. So it's like we have to teach them how to navigate all the injustices they go through every day. Yeah. Like be it in the classroom, be it in the hallway, be it with their boyfriend, girlfriend, be it with certain teachers, shit, be it with the dean. Like I ain't perfect, but it's like we got to teach them how to like effectively advocate for themselves. If you in the corner cursing and screaming ain't gonna help. And we got to do that as models. Like when we get frustrated with them, we can't turn off. We can't model the behaviors that we don't want them to do.
Right. And with that being said, it takes a level of discipline and let me ask you this, Mason.